This episode of GuildCast is brought to you by Shutterstock.com with over 28 million high-quality stock photos, illustrations, vectors, and video clips. Shutterstock helps you take your creative projects to the next level for 25% off your new account. Go to Shutterstock.com and make sure to use offer code GAMEBREAKER9. What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's GuildCast. What is it? Episode 86. 86 for September 11, 2013. You're watching GameBreaker. I'm Gary, and coming up on today's show, a dragon is rising. Sadly, it's not the bubbles. Dubby Dubs is getting serious, and Super Adventure Box is super freaking hard. All that and more. But first, joining us, the Bog Otter himself, Mr. Rich Procopio. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Mr. Gannon. How are you?
Excellent. Good to see you. And Matt, you're being trolled by something. I don't know. It's creeping up on you.
That's a growth.
That's
it's a growth.
Oh, a growth.
You might want to see a doctor
That's
about
one
that.
heck of a growth. You know, he doesn't have pants.
Ooh,
And
neither do
nothing
I.
under that either.
No pants. I have no pants
No
on.
pants.
Yes.
Whoa. Wow.
That is.
Would you like to stand up there, Richie?
That's
Would
the
you like to
biggest-
stand up?
The biggest secret of these internet shows is no pants is completely okay.
Oh, there's no pants required to do.
Have you ever
YouTube
done a show
stuff,
in no
so.
pants?
I've done stuff in no pants, yes.
Have you ever
YouTube
done a
videos.
show in no pants? I've never done it. I've never done it. Some, every once in a while
Mystery.
I'll wear. I normally don't even wear shorts. Once in a while I'll wear shorts, but
I will admit to sometimes I have a very nice button-down shirt.
Do you have, like, pajama
and,
pants
sweat,
on?
And sweatpants.
yeah, you totally
Right.
do, don't you?
Oh yes,
I
do that.
I think I did that for a while when the studio was at the house because it was really easy
Yeah.
to do that. And just kind of like roll over and just be like, hey, all right, let's do the show. Got to put a shirt on. Now that we're like at an office, I actually have to like go outside, which is a scary
Right,
place.
right.
And, yeah, you gotta look so-
Yes.
it's kind of funny. All right, so what do we got? Tequatl Rising, the next update.
Yes.
Woot woot woot! September 17th, World Boss Tequatl. The Sunless is getting a revamp. So what's up? New attacks, lethal tricks will be changing up the fight here. Is there also going to be a visual overhaul as well?
Looks the same to me. Really.
I don't
Pretty
think
much.
I don't think that's needed. It looks
Right.
amazing. That model is amazing anyway.
Yeah.
It's not like last month's model.
It's still the same, textures and everything.
All new Tequatl 2013.
Oh yeah, right. Doesn't look like that at all. Not at all.
The concept art's freaking awesome. I mean, look at that. That's the concept of it. Looks
It's
great.
amazing. I love the art and the sound design in Guild Wars 2 is just it's breathtaking.
What do we know
wonder
so
how
far
many
about
people
the? Go ahead.
Yeah, I wonder how many people are gonna intentionally fail that midway event in Tequatl just to get that wave scene.
Mm.
That wave thing is awesome, right? The one that's in the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we know so far about the fight mechanics? There's a short teaser video.
Yeah, they actually demoed it at PAX. They allowed 3 teams to go in and actually, try themselves against it, and I think they all failed, right, Matt?
Yeah, they all failed. Yeah, the dev had to cheat and use some dev I don't know, beast mode pretty much. And what was the crit? It was like over like 400,000 crit, like over and over again. You see his health is kind of cut down. It was great. It was great seeing that. But yeah, they lost every single time.
They lose.
Yeah, so it's got an enraged timer on it, or like a fail of, I think it's 15 minutes or so, which I'm not necessarily a huge fan of that being like the only fail condition that they put in. I know Grenth is one of the bosses that doesn't use that kind of fail mechanic. I want to see them kind of do that more often, but the fight is definitely have a lot more going on. You can't ignore the Hylic turrets anymore. You need to actually have people in the turrets clearing away poison clouds so to give people more room to stand. The turrets will also buff the allies and also remove a stacking armor buff on Tequatl. There's a mini event that Matt spoke of that happens in the middle of it that you have to try to protect people, protect the mega laser and the batteries so that it can charge up and shoot Tequatl out of the sky. And there's just a lot more going on overall in the fight.
So far, that's the only thing we've seen, but I think there might be a little bit more. I don't know. They seem to mention that there was like more mechanics later on, but no one ever got to that point yet.
Yeah.
But
there was something with them somehow falling into a trap or standing in the wrong place, and then suddenly they were way underwater and they have to kind of fight their way back to the surface to get back into the fight. There was a mechanic like that. There was also like little mini waves and stuff like that that you can actually jump over, and later those waves got bigger that you can't jump over. But overall, it looks much more complicated. They said it's going to take like 80 people.
Do you guys
Right?
think that was this
Something like
was this one of the fights that were like desperately in need of changing?
not really. I think this is something new they're trying to come out. What they told me is like, oh, they wanted hard content, so now we're gonna give them hard content. And I guess this is what we were talking about, like Guild Wars 2's style of raids coming out. So this is only the start. And if people like this, then they'll start doing it to the other dragons as well.
Yeah, I don't think this one particularly needed a revamp over the others. Basically, all the world bosses at this point are the same. People just stand in a big group, they spam their keys, and they die a couple minutes later. Jormag's got 2 phases, so you actually have to move at one point, but that's really the only difference. Some of the ones in Ore, some of the temples in Ore take a little bit more, coordination, like Brent I mentioned earlier. But yeah, so this is I guess the first step towards making them more difficult. It's going to be interesting to see how much can they really make it fun, challenging, and engaging for a coordinated group when it's in the open world like this, and just as many people as can fit in the server are going to have their way with the thing. So is it only time? Next week we'll be able to see. Is it going to be the type of thing that's really fun and like challenging and getting down to the wire, or is it going to be the kind of thing where it's either A, too easy and just a snooze fest, or B, it constantly fails the 15-minute timer because people, can't coordinate these zergs together, and it just becomes frustrating. So
for me, I think that people deciding if they're going to play this or not, it has to do with the rewards. If the rewards are good enough, if the reward, like they really want the rewards, or you can sell them on a trading post, or some type of profit or some type of reward that someone, any of them want. It's all about the rewards if they're going to go there and fight the dragon or not.
All about the loots.
It's all about the loots, because I mean, yes, I mean, it looks great and everything, but if you're not going to get anything for it, I don't think people are going to go and attack. But yeah, they are adding, ascended weapons colors in different colors, just kind of what they did with a Super Adventure box. And
the other big thing
I'm pretty sure there's wings as well that they're adding.
The other big thing that this is going to show is how well the removal of culling works, huh? Because I mean,
oh yeah.
What do you got, a Chua on you?
I'm on a boss fight right now.
What is that? You got a new dog?
Yeah, I've had this dog for a little while, a couple months.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Just got her about 3 months ago. Rescued her. She was almost dead. Now she's
so calm.
Oh, calm. She's crazy. Get off the keyboard.
Stop
seriously.
barking.
Get off the
It's
keyboard.
not noise.
What's her name?
Little.
Little.
That makes sense.
Different. Better.
She's not. What? Stop! Holy crap! You're driving. You're gonna ruin the show. Look at you. She's very excited right now. She just woke up.
Oh, no.
She's gonna pee on your hand. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great show.
Hey!
Ow!
Hey!
Nice face scratch. I like that.
All right. I mean, been looking forward to these updates. I mean, we know ArenaNet wanted to do tie in like revamps like this and things like this to the game. Any speculation though about what's going on? Like, why is Tequatl getting stronger? What's changed? Anything like that?
What you mean story wise?
Yeah.
I haven't heard any story. Richie, is that your department?
Yeah, you know what's funny? Like, typically what happens is you have like the one patch in the beginning of the month, right? That sets the stage, and then the story gets continued in the second patch of the month, and it gets continued. Well, in September we have Super Adventure Box, which is just fun, right? Not a ton of story. It's not very
Oh,
lore heavy.
Sorry there.
You run it.
I was distracted by
Camera's on the wrong guy.
Yeah.
So you have Super Adventure Box like in the beginning of September, which is not it's not it's light on story. It's just a lot of fun, and so I guess this is a good time to kind of sneak in. All right, we're going to do some revamps to some of the boss fights, and it's not going to be heavy tied into any living story. The August patches were very much so living story heavy. So I guess it's okay to have a patch once in a while that's just fun stuff and improvements and stuff like that. There doesn't seem to be a lot of story.
What's going on with some other bosses? Because Tequatl's not the only boss getting an update, right? Apparently, all bosses have been made more challenging and fun. So, do we know if that includes dungeon bosses or not?
No, I haven't heard any information on that one, but I'm pretty sure they're probably talking about some champions, maybe some buffs on some of those champions so you can't burn them down too quickly. Maybe I don't know what.
I would say it sounds like it's the world bosses, right? Because they actually mentioned in the update Mega Destroyer, Golem Mark II to the Fire Elemental. These are all open world bosses. They didn't mention any dungeon bosses specifically. But it's interesting. Is like, are they all just going to be made more difficult, or are they all getting this Tequatl treatment with like new phases and new events inside of it and new mechanics, or are they just being made tougher? It would seem. I don't know. That would be it's going to be interesting to see. Is it because the Tequatl is like the focus of this, and they make the whole patch kind of around it. But maybe they did this kind of thing to all the bosses. I'm not sure.
Do you think there's going to be story revolving around this as well? Do you anticipate any sort of story changes of why, and what's going on? Or you think they'll just kind of revamp them and leave it at that?
I don't know. I think for some of these things, this is kind of like, now that we've had a year to kind of see how the players play and get used to our own tools, we want to update some things. And this is the way we kind of wanted it to be at launch, and that's how they're going with it. I mean, it's great for the web page. Tequatl is rising, and evil is lurking, and all this kind of stuff. But we haven't gotten any story from it. So I don't know. I think it's just something they're just throwing in.
Looking at the update page, I guess you could say the patch may seem a little light on content. Looking at it on the web, I mean, I don't know. Either the idea here, I guess they're going for, is that we're going to be spending more of our time with all the revamped bosses. Maybe that's enough. Everybody's going to want to go back and do them all, or maybe they're holding something back.
They could be. Oh, they could be holding something back, but I don't know.
They did last time.
This might be one of those light patches because people complain that they don't have enough time to do this in two weeks or something like that. But I mean, Tequatl is it's a permanent content, so I don't get why it's so small. But I mean, there's a lot of features here, though. Definitely a lot of features, a lot of good features.
A lot of features, but not a ton of content. Just not a ton of
definitely
content.
Not.
Like I said, unless they plan everybody going back to do the dungeons.
What I would say to that is there's a couple things. One is what has been their trend since they went to this 2-week thing is they introduce a big patch at the beginning of the month, right? And so they did something like Bazaar of the Four Winds, right? So here's a new zone and lots of stuff to do. And then the second patch is usually wrapping things up. It gives you a little bit more to do, but they keep the first one active. So Tequatl is Rising is going to be the patch next week, but Super Adventure Box is still going on throughout the rest of the month. So you still have all that content to do. And so the second patch is usually a little bit lighter. But the other thing is, and we'll talk about this in a bit, I think part of Tequatl gets is the poster child for this patch, but one of the bigger changes is the stuff with World versus World. I mean, they're updating the World versus World maps, and they're putting in new mechanics in there, which we'll talk about. But that might be the real meat of this patch, is the World versus World stuff.
That's true. I think in conjunction with that. I mean, I don't know. I guess would revamping? I think revamping bosses would be usually enough for an update like this. I mean, I think ArenaNet also have been spoiling everybody like crazy, so maybe it's a little bit smaller patch.
I don't mind as much because I'm still on the Super Adventure Box stuff, and
I need more time. Time.
I definitely need more time. So I need to get those achievements done. I'm fine with it, really. At
least there'll be a reason to fight all these bosses with the patch of the looking for group tool.
Oh yes. A much needed. Like all of these hard features are coming in this year. It's in that ground floor.
I mean, 1 year after launch, how badly does this game need it?
Very bad. Very bad. that people just dedicate all their time to this, to go into that LFG site, Guild 2 LFG, and just they use that all the time because there's no other way to get a group unless you have a huge guild that is willing to
Why
run
is
with
it
you every
taking so
time you go
long? Why
somewhere.
are they stalling on this? I don't understand. Like, I mean, I would have thought a year later that this kind of would be at the point that, is there anybody really saying like, don't do this? I thought it would have been more of a priority at this point.
Well, so is spectator mode, but that took a while as well. So, I mean,
Yeah,
it's better them getting to it now than never getting to it at all. That's for sure.
True,
I mean,
true.
that's an excuse, but they have priorities as well. Certain things you have to work on first, like fixing the game, bugs, skills that are not working. I think it was a big process, and now they're getting to like the core stuff that people need. And
yeah. Well, one of the aspects of the looking for group tool that they're put into it is the ability to have, let's say you have a group of 2, right? And you're looking for more people to go do a dungeon or whatever. Well, the looking for group tool is smart enough to look and say, hey, you've got 2 people in your group. We're only going to show you listings of people of groups of 3, 2, or 1 that can actually fit in, and it'll allow you to actually choose one of those and merge your group into their group. So that's all tech that they probably had to build from scratch. Not justifying why it took a year, but they wanted to do it right. They didn't just want to throw something up there. They wanted to actually have all the functionality that they that they wanted to make this a robust tool. So hopefully it'll be worth the wait. It's kind of funny because at launch you have this game that allows you to group up and do dungeons with people cross server, right? And not a lot of MMOs do that. And it was at launch, but you had no way to find those people.
Yeah.
There's no way to talk to them unless you like log out, guest to another server, and you can only guest up to 2 servers in a 24-hour period, and then like spam chat over there. So this is much needed. There's tons of players across all the servers that you can now find dungeons, the living stories stuff. Like if you want to do any of the holiday dungeons or something like that, or you can even find open world stuff with your own server or world versus world groups for your own server. So this is going to be a great change, and I think people are super excited for it.
Richie, also coming up, you'll be happy to know that there's a new back piece coming that you actually won't be able to wear.
We needed the wardrobe.
Wings of the Sunless, because what outfit doesn't go with those?
It's true. Yeah,
it's a little bit bigger than that. I want big wings.
That's an Asura.
I know, but it's probably that small still. Probably that's still that small.
About big wings, you want to run through and like obscure everyone when you're doing a dungeon run. Don't you?
Yes, of course.
It's not flashy enough. You having Sunrise, the hugest greatsword, flashing like sunbeams everywhere. I need to have big bat wings too.
Yes, and I have to be able to fly with them as well. Legendary back pieces. I'm telling you, man, wings. Just
all back.
Now he's talking about flying mounts.
Yes,
flying mounts.
Flying. 1,000% speed boost. I think it's
nice.
Needed in a game.
Why not just go for 6,000?
It's needed.
Over 9,000.
Over 9,000. That would be great. That would be great.
Also, big change coming to WW. So each map has been updated with 5 new ruins if power capture points. What do you get if you get out of controlling these new points?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. They removed like a lot of the lake area in the Borderlands. So and they actually just made it like more land and stuff. There's still waterways and stuff for those that like it, but there's a lot more playable space. And they put these 5 capture nodes instead, and each one of them is in a ruin. And if your world captures 3 out of the 5, then and holds the points for 2 minutes, then your entire world across all 4 maps will get a buff that gives you like plus 50 to a bunch of your stats. But more importantly, it allows you, if you actually plant a finishing move in an opponent while this buff is active, you score 1 world point for your team. And we're going to be going into we're going to talk about this, but we're going to be going into a season 1 of World versus World where your score is going to matter. And so being able to kill somebody and spike them for 1 point is a lot, because if you hold a certain point you'll get 5 points for 15 minutes if you hold like a keep or something like that, or not a keep. I forget what it is, but one of the important points of interest. You get 5 points for 15 minutes, but you get 1 point for just spiking an opponent. So if you and your team take out a group of one of the other worlds and just spikes them all while this buff is active, you can really put dents and play some and either pull ahead or catch up in world points. So it's a pretty cool mechanic that they put in place.
Do you think it sounds like it's gonna have a pretty big effect on just the overall gameplay and just it sounds like it's gonna be really important especially for going into season 1. I want to talk about this. We're going to talk about the WW season 1 because I'm almost wondering if like how this is going to play out, adding this in so close to season 1, and that's going to sort of change the game a little bit.
Yeah,
that's kind of interesting.
Definitely.
All right, I want to talk about that really quick. I want to tell you guys about Shutterstock.com. If you guys have not checked out Shutterstock.com, I want to save you guys 25% off on your new account. All you got to do is go over to Shutterstock.com, make an account. You can keep it as a free account, start searching, looking for stuff, finding all kinds of different pieces of artwork and sorting and all that good stuff. We have a new show. Actually, I want to play our new show. Yeah, I should play our new show. Let me find this. Hang on. I just so happen to have it ready. Isn't that amazing?
Oh, yeah.
I know this is a Guild Wars 2 show, and I know I'm going to play something Final Fantasy related, but hang tight. I think everyone can find the humor in this. So this is called Coltrane's Comments. New show on GameBreaker. I'll play a little bit of this.
Ooh. Yes. This is Coltrane, and it's time to read some Final Fantasy comments that'll make you wanna vomit. J-Sop had this to say: I'd love to play this game, but I can't f***ing log in. Matthew Lambert said, escape the reality. Live the 1017. WTF is this shit? Vegetas S4 said, there are tons of MMOs that are way better than FF14, so I'm playing them instead of wasting money on this shit. And you can go f*** yourself too. Cole. Ben Mitchell replied, shut the fuck. You don't know what you're talking about. You know, Guild Wars 2 had to do this, and look how big that game is not. Flight X930 eloquently put, he***s cum shots. Bear Jew of Doom said, I expected more from a collector's edition, like perhaps a living baby Chocobo. Strife 860 pontificated, know you're ashamed. Pissing your money away at a black hole, eager to put your dick in it? Anime Warrior 16 rounded it out by saying, what if I had a Final Fantasy tattoo on my dick?
All right, so that's episode 2 of Coltrane's Comments, the Final Fantasy edition. We'll be doing a bunch of those on all different games. So I think actually next week Hearthstone is next on the list. But back to Shutterstock. So
and how this is related, we're gonna get into.
We are, because it totally is. So
Oh,
we're
yeah.
looking at a new show, and you can see this the picture of the lady. We call her the lady.
Yes. This is cool.
Lady. But I was like, trying to find like something that was gonna be like really just super awkward and cheesy and funny and sort of unrelated. So I immediately went to Shutterstock because yes, you can find anything. So I started looking through some of their stock photography. I started out like looking just at, like fireplaces and found her and this couple. These were all candidates. This is a light box, by the way. I always talk about light boxes to save your stuff. I saved it in here. Found this one, but then I found this one, and that just looked perfect. She was in deep thought, and it just looked like she was just thinking of Coltrane, thinking about Final Fantasy 14. And that was the winner right there. So again, you got comedy, you got a website, you got a guild website, whatever you got, a YouTube channel. I'm telling you, go over to Shutterstock.com and like start looking for stuff. I want to save you guys 25% off on your account. There's a couple different ways you can order, item packs where you can download packs of images or have a monthly account, things like that. We have a monthly account. We use this like pretty much on a daily basis at this point. all kinds of stuff. You can see all my light boxes are like for EQ, working on the EQ website, lights, all kinds of stuff. Looking for characters, icons, logos, all that good stuff. Check it out. Go over to shutterstock.com, make up a new account today. And when you're ready to sign up and take your account and start downloading some images or footage, make sure to use offer code GameBreaker9. Save you guys 25% off on your account. Love, love, love the Shutterstock. All right, so let's go back to WVDubs for a sec. WVDubs Season 1 is kicking off October 4th. That's going to be running till November 21st. ArenaNet are breaking up the region, North America's region, into 2 leagues of 12 worlds, and the EU region is going to be broken up into 3 leagues of 9 worlds. So over the course of 7 weeks, each world within the leagues will compete to see who is best. A lot less random, a lot more like a typical sports season, first off. I kind of like the way they're breaking this up and gonna kind of give us some sort of context and compartmentalization of how they're actually doing this. I think it's going to work really well.
Yeah, and I agree. It's you know, the matchups are going to make it so each world is going to be paired up with the other worlds in their league at least once during the time. So we're gonna see different opponents, and yeah, just because you lose a certain week or you don't do as well a certain week doesn't mean that you can't come back the next week. And you get points based on how you place each week, and then it'll tally it up at the end of the 7 weeks and see who comes out on top. But there is a I don't know. I'm not a big world versus world player, right? People know that. I'm mostly PvE. I've dabbled in it, but this is actually getting me a little bit more excited about it because it's not just like this ever ongoing thing, right? It's not just, oh, we won this week, so what, or we lost this week, so what? We'll play again next week. There's a time period, there's a cutoff. You want to do well during that time period because there's going to be a lot of buzz and press around it and stuff like that. And you want your server to do as good as possible. And as we'll talk about in a minute, there's rewards, personal rewards. That's
what I was going to ask you. Is that what's enticing you the most? Is the shiny fat loots at the end of it? Of course, I knew it. See, this is brilliant. So what they're doing is at the end of each season, each player who completes the season-long meta achievement will be given prizes based on their world's ranking. So this is awesome. I mean, it's a really long-term goal for WVDubs. And man, case in point, sounds like it really is going to incentivize players who are kind of a little bit more PvE centric to maybe jump in and check this out. You're going to want the fat loots.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You can't just sit on the sideline while this is happening and get rewards. If you want to get rewards, you're going to have to complete the meta achievement. And I like achievement points anyway. I love getting, hunting them down, and I like the reward system that Guild Wars 2 put in place for them. But yeah, depending on how ridiculous they are. I mean, if they're achievements that you have to earn over the 7 weeks, I assume they're going to be pretty difficult to get. But I could see myself spending a lot more time in World versus World while this is going on, so that I can unlock some achievement points and help my server, and also sweep rewards.
Do we know anything? Do we know anything about the rewards yet?
Just the only thing that's been mentioned so far is titles and like unique finishing moves for when you spike an opponent after they're dead. So it gives a custom animation, but we don't know all the details on that.
And how about the meta achievement? I mean, they call it the meta achievement like season long. I mean, I imagine you're not just going to be able to play like the first week and get some big reward. You're probably going to have to. Do we know how they're gating that, or how they're sort of gauging that?
No, not yet. But I could assume that it's going to be like, I mean, probably not as long as those World v. World achievements, but you have to play a few hours or a few days, should I say, not a few hours to actually complete it. I think so. There's got to be some sort of threshold in there where it kicks in and kicks out, because I mean, I would imagine it would also be really crappy on the other hand if somebody like gets involved with this and then misses 1 week because you're on vacation or something. They're probably hopefully going to still get an achievement.
What I hope they structure it something like this, where is that there's certain things they want you to do per day, right? It'll be like killed 15 members and take over X number of objectives in a day. And then if you complete like a World versus World daily, then you get credit toward the meta monthly saying, hey, maybe 10 times during the 7 weeks you need to complete your World versus World monthly or something. I hope it's something like that where you can contribute a smaller section of time daily rather than just having something like 1,000 players killed, right? And 50 towers taken over or something like that. If there are these huge kind of things like that where it's just grinding this out over the course of 7 weeks, I don't know. That won't feel as good as being able to kind of make progress on a daily basis.
I'm looking at the chat, and somebody's got a really interesting comment. He says, the truth is that WW players don't really recognize the winner loser as being important, and it's kind of funny to think about that. Like, I didn't really it's funny they're now taking WW and really sort of trying to make this more of an esport, which I never really thought. I thought that was not really the point. I don't know. Is there going to be a lot of interest for something like this? Do the WW players want this?
I'm pretty sure some of them want them. It depends on the server, I think. Some servers are even thinking of throwing it and not even doing World v World just so they could be in the lower brackets. It's. I'm pretty sure all the commanders are meeting up and they're talking about what they want to do. Do they want to be the best, or do they just want to suck, or they just don't care at all? Some servers don't. It doesn't matter to them. And then those are the servers that's like, it doesn't matter if we win or lose or not. I'm in there for the fun. I'm in there for the fights. I'm in there for the 1v1s, random stragglers, fighting them. Some people enjoy World v World for different reasons.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I'm on Blackgate, which is one of the top tier World versus World servers. They definitely care about World versus World. They definitely care each week about coming out on top, and I think they're going to care about wanting to, stay on top during this league season thing. However, I could see a lot of other worlds who have just been down in the middle or the lower brackets really not caring all that much about this thing, and it maybe even hating it because, now they're going to be matched up with top tier worlds, maybe more populated worlds more often than they were before. And so, yeah, I could definitely see the other side to this, that, the people who have the server with a lot of have a lot of people and a lot of coverage and a lot of serious players about it might be more into this than the servers that don't really stand a chance.
Yeah, get your time zones correct and start recruiting players in other countries to cover your WWs.
Yeah, we
spoke about
that before.
Next up, because the internet loves to complain, Josh Foreman responds to complaints that Super Adventure Box has become too hard. How are you guys doing in the box?
In the box.
Well, but they already nerfed it, right? They already nerfed it.
They did some nerfs, yeah.
Yeah, they nerfed it. They nerfed it. They added a bunch of checkpoints, and they did fix some of the bugs. And I'm glad. The thing I liked about the nerf is that I'm glad they added some drops for baubles, because I think there wasn't enough coming out really, because you can't do what you did the first time this came out, where you could kind of farm baubles, and every time you dig in the same spot, it keeps spawning over and over again. You can just keep going through the world, get all the dig spots, and get just tons of baubles every single time, and then go outside and get some bubbles. And now it's like only daily, stuff like that. So that's a good part. But for me, I'm glad I beat World 2 before they nerfed it, because it makes me cool.
Have you moved up from infantile mode?
Oh, please, that's Richie.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I beat World 1 Tribulation Mode before you did, Matt Visual.
Excuse me. I did it live on the live stream. Hold up, what?
Yeah.
Before me?
Yeah, because I saw when you posted, I did it. And I was I did that a couple nights
I had to wait until I had a live stream. I promised.
I did my World 1 on a live stream.
Snap.
Hey,
gauntlets are being thrown left and
I'm
right.
halfway through World 2.
He started it, man. He started slinging it.
Hey. So how was it? How long did it take you, Richie?
What do you mean?
It took him approximately 3 days before, less than you.
It took. No, I did. I had to wait until I live stream to actually stream it. But it seems 1 to 2 hours to kind of go through tribulation mode. It seems like once you know how to get through it, it's actually not that hard. That's why I was looking at the nerf. I'm like, why did you nerf it? You could eventually just do it if you just push through. I mean, even Richie did it. Come on.
Oh,
You know? Like,
snap!
I'm just playing. But like everyone, you see the guy speed run all the worlds in like not all the worlds, but he speed run Zone 1, World 1, 5 minutes, 40 seconds. Like if you know where to go, it's not that hard. You know, and if for the people who think it's too hard, they can just look up a guide and do it. So that's why I say, why nerf it? You know, for the people who want to go through Super Adventure Box and find out what to do on their own, and you know they like that discovery, they should left it in there. But I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Let's be a little clear though. There were some things that they nerfed or changed that were just not working right. Right, the water spouts. You know, you sometimes can hit those things dead on while they were going up and down, and you'd be hitting like a brick wall, and they'd knock you off. And there was definitely frustration points that they smoothed over with this. And if you read a lot of what Josh Foreman says on the forums about the changes and stuff like that, I mean, he admits that some of the things weren't, as technically sound as they wanted them to be, and they threw in a whole bunch of stuff just because they had all this cool new tech, and maybe they should have spaced some of it out and stuff like that. So I think some of the nerfs were justified. My problem overall with this implementation of Super Adventure Box is the normal modes of World 2. They are far too long. Far too long. I mean, we got a sneak peek of the Rapids one when the first Adventure Box came out, right? They gave you that sneak peek of World 2 Zone 1. And they ended it right after the little boat raft scene. And to me, that was a good length. That was almost too long then. But this new incarnation of Rapids, that's like the halfway point, and the rest of it is like really long and frustrating in my opinion. So I think that not necessarily the difficulty overall, but the length really needs to be toned down, and I really hope that when they put out World 3 that they kind of respond to that a little bit. I think they need to be shorter worlds, maybe make more zones per world, but shorten them down, because that's my problem with it.
I don't know, like I enjoyed that it was long. That's the thing. For me, I enjoyed that it was long. It was more content, in my opinion. Is that a baby?
That Gary's dog?
No, that's the crybabies on the forums. It's too hard. It's too hard. But like, I could understand because World 1 was a lot easier, and it was normal and everything like that. And I can understand World 2. I can understand nerfing World 2 for the people who just want to play it. They don't want to have to deal with rough stuff, and they have tribulation mode for the people who want that hard stuff. I could understand that, definitely. For me, I like that it had a lot of content to it. I like that it wasn't just it didn't feel like some little mini game. You go there, you hit a couple stuff, you jump away, do a couple jumping puzzles, and that's it. It felt like it had character, and that was actually a very long game, separate from Guild Wars 2. And I enjoy the item upgrades that they added to it and everything like that. I thought it was a good length.
Have you been 45 minutes into one of these worlds and gotten DC'd?
No, have not.
That is brutal. That makes me
that has nothing to do with the world, though. That has something to do with them not fixing the DC issue.
Well, there's a lot to it, because there's not a lot of fail safes in Guild Wars 2 throughout the game. Like whether you're in an event or like you could be halfway through a world boss, right? And you just DC for a minute, you come back in, now you don't have any credit, and you miss rewards. Like those kind of things really drive me crazy, because I've been 45 minutes into a tribulation run and gotten disconnected, and you have to start all over. So those things just drive me nuts. So,
all right. Well, here's what Josh had to say responding to the difficulty, combined with the infinite continue coin being called a money grab on the forum. So here's what he said. He said, "That's not how things work here. I don't tell the commerce team how to do their job, and they don't tell me how to do my job. My goal is to make a really fun and compelling experience for players. Insofar as World 2 is not fun right now because of the crazy difficulty, that's on me, because I made some poor judgment calls." He says, "If the reason was to sell coins, I would not be here, and you would not see a huge suite of fixes we put together over the last couple days come out tomorrow." First of all, I don't want to read too much into each team not telling each other what to do their job. They don't communicate. Whatever. So, they don't.
Yeah, I felt like that. Yeah.
I think he's being pretty much straight up, you know. I don't really think that they're like dictating to each other, like, you know, how they kind of build this stuff out. I mean, sounds like to me that would be like a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
Right. Like I was talking about this from before because people were like, oh, I don't want to get an infinite, continue coin. And I was like, now I see why they nerfed it, and why they had to nerf, because people thought that the reason why they, it was so hard is that people can go and buy the continue coin for 600 gems, and they were like, now you have to go buy it because you keep running out of continue coins. But like now I see why they nerfed it and why it was needed, because, they don't want players to feel like, oh, it's.
What do you think, Richie? Because I mean, even last week, I think you even suggested, correct me if I'm wrong, that you were weren't you accusing ArenaNet of kind of grabbing some money here with the coin?
No, no, I said that the players are accusing them, and that I didn't think that they were doing that. I didn't think they sat around in a meeting room and said, "Oh, I've got this great scheme. They'll bring us a lot of cash. Let's make Super Adventure Box so hard that they'll have to buy this infantile, not infantile, this unlimited continue coin." So I definitely don't think that that's the case, and he's reiterating that. I mean,
but I don't think you can blame players for seeing it that way.
Exactly. Yeah, there's going to be the players that look at that and say, "Oh, of course, this is a money grab." But if people take a step back and really look, how much goodwill that they earned over the course of a year in this gem store, right? They put out very mild things for the most part. People, it's not pay to win. Most of it's cosmetic, and there's so many things that they implement to kind of give players, a better experience that actually hurt their bottom line, right? They put in the account wallet, which it saved me over 20 bag slots, right? They put more things in the collections tab so that you can save bank spots. That directly impacts how much money they make on new bag space and new bank space. So that they do things all the time to kind of make sure that players are having a good experience overall with the game and not just go for the money grab. So I don't think that this was something that they did on purpose.
So what are the fixes that they're throwing out here? And have they touched tribulation mode?
Yeah, I think the nerf on World 2 affected tribulation mode. I'm pretty sure. Not only normal mode. So I guess there was a certain part in tribulation mode. I heard a lot of people talking about World 2 Zone 2 was extremely hard, and there was like a definite issue on a part that it was just really hard to get through. And I think the bug fixes and all the fixes kind of fixed that issue, that it was just like, there's sometimes there's just something just so unforgiving, So I can definitely see that happening. I'm pretty sure it affected tribulation mode, especially with the checkpoints. They added a lot more checkpoints in World 2.
Yeah, they made some changes with spin flowers that used to jump on, and they would launch you in a direction that you were facing when you landed on them, and now they actually bounce you to a set point, which makes it a lot less frustrating and a lot easier. The water spouts, the little geyser things, they stay up all the time instead of disappearing and going up and down, because that was very, very difficult to manage sometimes. But so yeah, they did a lot of quality of life things, and like Matt said as well.
And on the infinite coin, Josh had this to say. He said, "I think it's a great item because it expands the number of people who can experience Super Adventure Box. There's probably a good-sized portion of players who don't want to play it like a real standalone old-school game where you have to really learn the levels, find the secrets, earn the resources to get the power-ups, etc. In that way, it's like a game genie. It also gives people who are really into SAB a chance to vote with their money and support future development." What do you guys think of this? Agree, disagree? Where do you stand? This is a pretty
I definitely agree, because the thing is, really, like, I really like SAB. Obviously, I play it all the time. Every time it comes out, I'm happy to see it come. So, really, I don't want to damper my experience by trying to farm baubles to get continue coins. I don't want to farm for continue coins, right? And so I was like, man, this is the greatest thing they could put on in the gem shop. I'm actually really happy that they put it in the gem shop. It's not that expensive. It's what, like $5? No, probably a little bit more than $5.
$7.50.
But like what?
$7.50.
$7.50. And now with that infinite continue coin, you can keep playing, keep learning the level, and keep going from your checkpoint instead of starting all over again with 0 continue coins. They have to go farm, then come back again, do the whole level over again. Can you imagine the frustration of getting to the last boss, right, in one of those extremely long World 2 levels, right, Richie, and then all of a sudden dying and have to start all over again because you don't have continue coins? That is not a good experience. It is not a good experience, and I do not want to go through that. So I bought that immediately before I went to Tribulation Mode.
No, I think it's a good item too. I mean, the reality is, if you don't want to buy this thing and you can't farm up enough continue coins to make Tribulation Mode worthwhile, then don't. Then Tribulation Mode is not for you in that scenario. And all you're missing out on is some achievement points and yellow colored weapons that you can get other colors of. So that's it. It's not a, if that's really your sticking point, you don't want to spend the money on that, or you don't want to farm up those continue coins, then that content's not for you. Wait for the next patch, and that's really all you have to say about that. I mean, it's not like they're putting a dungeon at the end of this that only the people with the infinite continue coin can experience. No, it's not like that at all. So
it feels like people are getting used to, like, oh, we have to complete everything. It's like, I know, I understand some people are completionists, but if you don't want to go through the pain, some achievements are meant to be earned, not, like, oh, okay, let me just do this real quick and, I get off Guild Wars. Like, no, they're meant to be earned. They're not meant to be easy. It's going to take you some time. You don't have to get all the content, and you don't have to get all the content easily either.
No, Matt Visual. I am paying a monthly. I'm not paying a monthly fee.
Exactly.
Forget it.
It's free content.
I should be able to complete everything, get every item in the game, and explore every single piece and every single thing in the game.
And it has to be easy and casual.
Easy. Just rain feel good on me. My dopamine drip has slowed down. Please hit that part of my brain again. I think the other big thing, to wrap this up, I think the other big thing about this is, for people out there who are claiming, money grab, if you really sit and think for 2 seconds about this, there are a gajillion other ways that ArenaNet could have been going for a money grab with the gem store. We have been talking about it for the past year, that we cannot believe how sort of like conservative they have been with the gem store. So if they wanted to make more money off you, believe me, there are a gajillion things they could be selling in there right now that they are not. So
play some of those Korean MMOs and you'll know.
Oh, you'll know. Matt Visual. Follow him on Twitter at Matt_Visual. Don't forget the underscore. Matt_Visual. And go over to his YouTube channel, Matt Visual. And make sure you see a doctor about that growth, because it's not looking so good. And Mr. Richard Procopio. Follow him on the Twitter at Richard Procopio. And go to his YouTube channel, which is Bog Otter. Go over. Lots of great stuff over there. He just froze. It's great. Derp face. Thought he was just holding that pose for a second. Oh, there he's back.
There we go. I'm back.
Oh, that's Shutterstock. Nope. You can follow me on Twitter at Gary Gann, and follow GameBreaker TV, GameBreaker TV, and check out all of our new sites. Got XIV Nation, WildStars coming soon, EQ Nation coming next. People, for you EQ Next fans, and be on the lookout. We have another Hearthstone beta key giveaway coming up soon, so be on the lookout for that. That's going to be over at hearthnation.com, our Hearthstone site. So we do the show live every single Wednesday at 6 PDT. So kind of come over and hang out for the live show. It's always a good time. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week for some more GuildCast.